Dune Part 2. It's balls to the wall. And it's fantastic.
Like I told you.
Holy God.
I knew it was going to be great, but that was awesome.
Yeah, like it's so good. Like Dune Part 1 is so enthralling. I mean, you're just sucked into this story. Dune Part 2 is like that plus action, you know, and like worm surfing, right? Some up religious stuff. It is my shit, man. Like I love Dune so much. Never in a million years would I have guessed I would love Dune. Dune Part 2. Let's take it back to 2020.
Yeah.
2019. I don't know, whenever the first trailer for Dune came out. First trailer comes out for Dune. And I'm like, man, this is the biggest movie that I could not give a shit about. Like, at all. There was no desire in me to watch Dune at all. And like, the more and more I saw of it, the more and more I was like, I still just don't give a shit about any of this. Any of it. And then I don't know exactly when it happened. Maybe it's because it was day and date on Max. That might have been what made it happen. Mm-hmm. But I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
And within like 5 minutes, I fucking fell in love with this franchise. Like, holy fuck. It was honestly, I can tell you the exact moment. It was when in the first movie, that's not really a spoiler, but in the first movie, at the very beginning, Paul Atreides is talking to his dad, which is Oscar Isaac. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I forget exactly what the quote is, but he says something like, what if I don't want to lead? Right? Because Paul, like his dad is like he's one of the big houses. He's like a king. He rules over stuff, blah, blah, right? And so Paul's going to be the new king at some point, like whenever he takes on the stuff, you know, very, very general lore stuff, you know, humble beginnings, right? And he says, what if I don't want to lead or something? Mm-hmm. And his dad says, you'll still be my son. Yeah. Or something to that effect. Like it was very much not what you would expect the patriarchy to say in that kind of situation. Somebody that's, you know, like ruling over, like you would expect him to be like, well, fuck off, kid. Like, you know, you gotta grow up and give a shit. And he was like, I didn't want to lead either. Like he connected with his son, and that was just so refreshing to see, just like a dad not suck ass in one of these situations, you know? And so like, I loved that. And so that brought me in immediately. And then once we get into the world and just everything else, I mean, the visuals alone, my God. Yeah. But like everything was just so good. Mm-hmm. And like, I didn't understand any of it.
No, I fell asleep during the first half of it, the first go around.
Yeah.
But whenever we rewatched it, what was it, Friday?
So we watched it Friday just to make sure we remembered everything. Yeah. And it made so much more sense the second time around. And like we actually got to like discuss like breaking it down, which I know hey, Dune has existed since the 60s. Okay.
Yes.
So
which
like,
we didn't realize that.
I mean, I knew it was old. Like I knew it like predated Star Wars and stuff, but I didn't know exactly like when it dropped. Yeah. So I mean, like we're not going to be saying anything. Let me say it this way. We could be completely wrong with our reading of the materials. Okay. Yes. And like, that's fine. That's totally fine. I've watched a little bit of stuff about it. I didn't want to watch too much because I didn't want it to color my opinion. Yeah. But I did watch Eric Voss's breakdown of like all the Easter eggs and stuff.
I read the cliff notes of the book.
And so like
that really does help, by the way, if you're like not really sure what you have seen.
Yeah.
With these two movies, just look up Dune cliff notes. That helps you a whole lot.
Honestly, it makes me want to read the book, and I mean that's a lot. That's saying a lot for me because I don't do that.
Well, it even hit me too. I'm like, man, we could go to Mr. K's and get a used book, man.
Or I mean, I've got my Kindle. Like, we can just get it, you know, digitally or whatever. Or we could just go to Mr. K's and get it, you know, why not? And then, like, there's so many, and I've heard that they get all over the place. But anyway, I digress. So all that being said, as we're discussing Dune and our thoughts and opinions on, like, what it means and stuff, at no point are we trying to say that we are the de facto opinion.
We're the experts.
Yeah. And I mean, by the time the next movie comes out, all of everything we think could be completely
different
thrown out. Yeah. So... But I definitely, just right off the top, want to say, if you've watched Dune 2, I highly recommend checking out Eric Voss's recap of the Easter eggs and stuff. I thought it was really, really good. And he definitely goes into more of the lore of the books, which helps. But his take on Paul was really like very different from the way I walked away from Dune 2, and I thought that was really interesting. So as we're talking about it, I may reference his video some, but I'm mainly going to be talking about like our opinions and stuff. So just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
So we finished Dune, made a lot more sense, and then on Saturday we went and watched Dune 2, and from the get-go, it's balls to the wall, and it's fantastic.
Like I told you.
Holy God.
I told you after we got out of the movie, we got in the car, and I said, I knew it was going to be great, but that was awesome.
Yeah, like it's so good. Like
the storytelling was really, really good.
And dude, it's like Dune Part 1 like is so enthralling.
Yeah.
You know, like you're watching it the whole time, you're just sucked into this story, right? And Dune Part 2 is like that plus action. You know, like just plus some of like the best like huge battle sequences, and like worm surfing, right? Like I mean, and just like some fucked up religious stuff is also in there. Like it's just it is my shit, man. Like I love Dune so much, and I am shocked. Never in a million years would I have guessed I would love Dune.
I remember when the trailer for the first part came out, and he's like, Matt said, I can't believe this crap is being remade. Maggie, we'll watch this trailer, but I want to show you the 80s trailer. Yes. And like, I was like, oh God, yeah, that looks awful. Yes. And so like Matt had already like
sold you on it
sold
being
me
terrible.
It's gonna be this story is gonna suck.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, because all I remembered was just the 80s, and I feel like there's like a mini series.
Yeah,
that was also like on USA or something,
yeah.
And it was super boring. Right?
Travis said the closest to knowledge of Dune I possess is the music of Sting and the Police, because he wore a thong in the 80s movie. Yeah, and their hair looks wild.
Yeah,
it's like they make that tribe or that house of people bald in these, and like in those they're like all red.
Yeah. Dude, it's so weird. And like in the 80s one, the armor that they wear is like big blocky, like it looks like an N64 game come to life, you know? Like it's it's wild. And honestly,
Tron on coke.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's like if Tron and the Star Wars like was made by the guy that made Kroll. Is that what it's called? Is that what it's called? The giant head? Like the giant head god thing?
I think so.
So anyway, I don't want to talk any specifics about Dune 2 for anybody that's not watched it. Right. I don't want to give anything away.
No.
So all I want to say is I'll keep it non-plot related. And I'll just say literally every actor in it knocks it out of the park. Christopher Walken does like the most subdued Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
And it's
because I was like, how's he gonna talk?
Yeah. And I mean he's fantastic.
Yes.
Because I mean it's like you can see him respecting the material so much that he doesn't go Christopher Walken on it, you know.
Go New Yorker on you.
But he still kills it. Like he's still phenomenal, you know.
Austin Butler.
Yes, which is like disappears into the role. Like I didn't even realize.
And apparently, if you've watched the first Dune, Skarsgård, his voice coach also coached him. So they have like the same
dialect and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I was like, man, he sounds a lot like him.
Yeah.
And then whenever Eric Voss said that, I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense now.
Yeah. God. And then of course, Timothée Chalamet.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just he's a movie star. You know, like he's our new Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks.
Yes.
Like he is just gonna be the person, you know.
These two, and Austin Butler, and I think
and
Florence Pugh.
Yeah,
these are
the future of Hollywood.
The future of Hollywood. These are our movie stars.
Like, honestly, man. I mean, I don't want to sell Zendaya short. Like, she kicks so much ass in
Yes,
this.
she does.
Like, not only like is she funny and like loving, like a love interest, and like able to capture that, but she also kicks a lot of ass and like, but never loses the vulnerability of her character while also being just a badass.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she kills it, man.
Yeah.
And like, I think the thing I can give it the most is that that might be a spoiler. Never mind. I won't say anything. I won't say it.
Travis says, I remember the main dude being in a room. Captain Picard walks in and says, hey, we're going to fight. And then they turn into N64 games.
Yep.
And he said he also remembers them running with pugs into battle. A dog sit two pugs, my bad. They won't protect you against anything.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
I love that, man.
It's so weird. God. Like, I want to watch it, but at the same time, I don't want to watch it. You know?
I just yell out, the captain, the whole entire time, because that's
God.
the main
It's
dude.
Daisy's dad.
I need to remember his name. That's what I need to do. And he was
And
also
of
the
course,
villain
Twin
of...
Pigs. He's also in Twin Pigs, obviously.
The villain in the Flintstones movie.
Oh my God. Why? Why, Maggie? Why? God. But I will say, special effects wise,
Yeah.
one of the best movies I have probably ever seen. I mean, because not only are the visual effects just perfect.
Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah.
MacLachlan.
But not only are the special effects just perfectly done, but then like just the cinematography,
cinematography
like just
is
everything.
gorgeous.
There's a whole scene that is in black and white.
Yes.
And it's incredible. Like, but it's not like black and white, like
the film is going to be in black and white. It's because
like where they live
is
lacks color.
Yeah.
And it's just insane. Because like it is the most vibrant black and white, you know? Like, it's crazy.
But then like when it shows like inside a room on that planet,
there's color.
Yeah. That's weird.
It's so bizarre. Apparently they shot it, and I don't even understand this statement that I'm about to say, but they shot it with, is it our? No, I can't think of the word, but like the thing that was wrong with their eyes, like in the movie, they can't see like just a certain spectrum of light.
Yeah.
And that's why everything's in black and white. And so apparently they shot it with those types of cameras, like what you use for like a security camera.
Oh my God.
Apparently. Now again, I don't know what that even means, right? Because that sounds
crazy.
insane to me. But apparently that's something that they did. I want to say it's IR. I
think you're right.
Yeah.
Travis said the police should have at least done music for this. He could have done one for the popcorn bucket. I hope someone get my message in a bucket.
Message in a bucket. Don't stand so close to me. That's what Maggie was saying to me when I was holding the bucket.
Yeah.
Did not take the bucket back.
Nope, we didn't.
I'll be honest, I didn't want to eat popcorn out of it. Like, nothing against it. I love the bucket.
Those
honestly, I do
these
love
tin buckets, if you wash them and if you don't dry them really good, they rust.
Yeah.
So.
And like, you know, it's a collector's item. You know, look at that. Come on, look at that. Sandworms, so friggin' cool.
Yes.
I don't know if there's anything else I can say outside of spoilers. So, May, why don't you tell us how you felt about it? I mean, well, if you had any more, I'll put it on.
I don't think so.
Would you recommend people go watch Dune?
Yes.
Would you say, let me ask you this. Or go ahead.
I can't think of a pun. Go on.
Would you recommend if someone watched the first Dune and didn't really enjoy it, would you tell them to give this a shot anyway?
Yeah. Because I think, sorry.
I agree.
I think if you try to rewatch the first one, and then you go watch this, I think it makes it better to me.
Yeah, I would say if you weren't confused by the first one, I don't think you necessarily have to rewatch it. Mm-hmm. Like, they'll catch up. Like, if you didn't enjoy the first one, I wouldn't say force yourself to watch it again.
Yeah.
But I would say still give this one a chance because it is a lot better.
Yeah.
And not that the first one was bad at all. Like I love the first one.
There was a lot of setting up in the first one.
Yeah. But this just takes it like I've heard this comparison by a lot of people, but this really is the Empire Strikes Back to A New Hope. You know,
I agree.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, for real, and I mean, I don't want to be too quick to say this. This could very well be the best movie of 2024.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people say that.
Like, I mean,
this is the best
for
movie.
us. I could see Deadpool 3 coming up above it if they do that right.
Yeah.
But like, as far as like just a technical side, like, I'll be shocked if anything is better than this.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hope it is. That would just mean we got some really freaking good movies. But I would definitely recommend it. If you've been on the fence, like, believe me, I'm somebody. I don't like Lord of the Rings, right?
No, he doesn't.
Like, I like things that make you contemplate. I like things that are thoughtful sometimes. You know?
Interstellar.
Yes. Oh my God, I love Interstellar. But like this really breaks down like Messiah, like mythology, you know, and like religion and like what is belief and what is faith. And like if something was false, could it still be real?
Yeah.
You know? And like it's that wrapped inside of an epic sci-fi adventure on a desert planet where people surf worms, you know? And like it's just so fucking rad. It's just rad as shit, man.
Travis Mitchell has made a lot of police puns with Dune.
I appreciate it. I appreciate
like,
that.
Dune stands so close to me.
A
Dune, a da. There's a little spot on the Dune today. Messiah in a bucket.
There it is. There it is.
He said, and Travis also says, I had no interest in Dune, but hearing this makes me want to see them both now.
You should check it out.
Check it out, man.
It's so good.
It's really good. And like I said before, if you watch the first one, you're like, what in the flip did I just watch? I don't understand any. Just go Cliff Notes, baby, or watch Eric Voss.
Yeah. I would suggest, if you haven't watched either, watch the first one. If you watch the first one and you don't like it, I would still tell you to go try and watch the second one, because it's just much more action, but still a very, very meaty story, you know. But I feel like it kind of keeps you enthralled a little bit more.
And there's things that pay off in the second one, too.
Like, these are one movie.
Yes.
Like,
they were, I
mean, it was one book split into two movies. And, like, thank God, like, normally I'm against that, but it needed the breath to be able to tell this whole story. Like, if they tried to cram that
can't imagine what they did
in the 80s one. Yeah, dude. I don't even know how they could do that.
Do they explain why Duncan, Idaho has such an earthly name?
Who's Duncan, Idaho?
I'm trying to remember.
Is there a character named Duncan? Here's the thing about Dune, all right? Because I was like, why the fuck are some of these people, like, there's a kid named Paul, somebody named Jessica, like, why the fuck are their names normal?
It's because they're humans. It's Jason Momoa's character.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I forgot about him.
Yeah. I was like, I know that. I know I heard his name.
Dune takes place not 10,000 years in the future, as one would think, but 20,000 years in the future, okay? Because, like, it's 10,000 AG, which was when the calendar was reset after we hit 10,000 AD. So it's 20,000 years, technically 18,000 because we're in the year 2000, but whatever. So they are, it is humans, like it is us. And like where religion has evolved in this universe, it takes elements from like various religions, and you can kind of like track it back to, like, if you go far enough back, you can figure out where things came from, you know? And so like it's not like Star Wars where it's like, it's its own thing. Like there's a piece of this that really feels like could be our future. I mean, it won't. I mean, I don't think it will be our future, but like, it's almost like Planet of the Apes, the original, where like you can see how it got there, but it doesn't really show you how it got there. But like you can kind of fill in the gaps of like how society crumbled.
Yeah.
And like, well, in this case, how they succeeded, I guess.
I think we just sold Travis on this.
Sweet.
He says, he's like, I didn't know that they were humans. He's like, I have become 10 times more interested in this.
Yeah, dude. It's really good. Please go watch Dune 2 in the theaters before it leaves.
Yeah.
Like, because it needs to be seen on the big screen. Like, I'm usually not a big proponent of like you have to go watch in theaters.
No, he's not.
But like you really should on this. Like, just seeing the giant sandworms is so good, man. Oh my god. Okay, I could go on and on about it, but I think now we should go into the spoilers section. So remember, everybody.
We welcome your phone calls.
That's right. So you can call us at 1-423-403-4162. That is U.S. only.
Sorry, our peeps across the sea.
I think you can, but I think just like the rates would apply and stuff. So just kind of keep that in mind. But from this moment on, spoilers. Now we will be coming back to add it into the ranking. So, feel free once this is gone, to come back and watch, and see where we end up ranking it. Gee, I wonder where we're going to put it. But, feel free to come back. But from this moment on, spoilers for Dune 2. I can't believe Paul was dead the whole time. Oh my God. He wasn't, obviously.
No, he wasn't.
Okay. So I kind of alluded to this a little bit.
Yeah.
So like one of the struggles I had with this movie, with these two movies, was trying to understand Paul and like the prophecy of him being the chosen one.
Yeah.
Cause like it's fake.
Yeah.
But is it fake? That's where I come from.
Yeah. Cause
like I think it calls into question the very idea of what a prophecy is. Cause like, growing up, and I don't want to get like too in the weeds here, so I'll try to not. But like growing up, I grew up in church.
Yeah.
Right. And so there was, we grew up in evangelical churches.
Southern.
Yeah. So there was lots of talk of like the rapture, those kind of things.
I mean, yearly. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I mean, the year 2000, the world was ending for certain, and that was only 24 years ago. I digress. So, like, the idea of prophecy is just something I've grown up with, right? And it's like the idea, to my understanding, growing up in it, the idea of a prophecy was something that someone has been shown or foretold, right? So it's not necessarily something they know so much as it's something that they've been given or told or shown, right? Now, I mean, of course, they know it because they have the faith in it, right?
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily like I know who Maggie is, but like if somebody told me 5 years ago that I guess 15 years ago, that there would be a Maggie, right? Like that would be a prophecy, whereas me knowing Maggie is not a prophecy. I don't know if that makes sense with what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But so in this, the old grannies, somebody called them
Reverend mothers.
Yeah, somebody on TikTok called them the old grannies. I love that. So
they are.
They're a bunch of old bitches. And so like they over generations have set up this idea of the chosen one to control the planet, as well as I'm sure it goes beyond just controlling Dune.
Because in Paul's vision, it shows that he has control over every house.
Yeah.
Because it shows him at other planets.
Yeah. Especially at the end of the first one.
Yeah.
Because Zendaya's by his side and stuff. And so, so they like seeded this idea, and like this plays into the whole thing of like them controlling the native people of the planet Arrakis. Thank you. And so like instead of trying to take them over and fight them, they seed the idea that there will be a savior, a Messiah that will save them and bring about paradise on Arrakis, right? Yeah. And so like they, for all intents and purposes, they made this up. But then they made it happen through like crossing bloodlines and all this stuff. Like it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But like, it's pretty simple on the top surface, but like if you drill into it, it becomes very complicated. But so like they made him real. And like he does have the abilities that they said he would, like being able to see the future, being able to sandworm surf and stuff. And so like my question is does that mean it's not a prophecy, or that it's a false prophecy? Because it happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like thinking about those bloodlines and stuff, it just makes me think of like back in the day of when there was like kings and queens of different countries and stuff, and how like, we are sending our daughter to this place so that she can marry this guy, so that we can have this in the bloodline, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like that's what it sounds like to me, because like that's given control.
Yeah.
And that's what those old ladies have been doing.
Well, and then there's another wrinkle to this whole thing where the old ladies have magic, kind of, but like the main thing being they can read each other's thoughts.
Yes.
Like they can communicate telepathically.
Yeah.
But then apparently, and I didn't get this in the movie, but apparently they can also commune with each other through time. So like anyone in the old lady lineage can talk to any old lady in the lineage at any time.
Yeah.
So like if you're, from 1,000 years ago, you can talk to somebody from now and like get that information. So the idea is that the people who are seeding the idea of the Messiah back 1,000 years ago or whenever, that they were actually communing with someone from now, and that they were giving them all the details on Paul, essentially. And so like, oh yeah, he'll be able to surf a worm, and
all this
he'll
stuff.
He'll have he'll be modest as a mouse, or like all these things, because he has already done those things. But then they're setting up that prophecy in the past to then be fulfilled by him, because that is who he is. Yeah. So like, but isn't that what a prophecy is? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like if it's like, what makes it not be a prophecy? Is it just because of faith? Like if it's a factual thing, it can no longer be a prophecy. Whereas if it's faith-based, then it is a prophecy. Because I just don't get the difference. Like just because they made it up, but then it's still real. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm making it way more complicated than I need to. You know what I mean? Because like it is, like, because it's a false prophecy is how they portray it. Yeah. But it really happened. It's like that painting in Dodgeball of the bull. He's like, yeah, it's a painting of me taking the bull by the horns. It's a metaphor, but it really happened. Like I feel like that's Paul with this prophecy. He's like, yeah, it's a false prophecy, but it's real. Yeah. And so it's like, so is it? I don't know. And honestly, at the end of the day, does that really matter? I don't know.
I think it's just all about how you view it. I don't know. Like, I was very much convinced that Paul didn't believe in this.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That he was not. He even told his mom when she drank the water of life, she's like, no. He's like, no, I am not. Yeah. I am not who you say I am. I am not the prophet. The prophecy's a bunch of crap. Yeah, y'all made this shit up. Yeah. This is all made up, and that's how I feel about it. Yeah. But then like these things that they say, oh, he'll call himself this and blah 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 blah. Yeah. He'll do this. He'll become one of us. He'll know their ways. Yes. And like he does all these things, but like we had this conversation, like, is he willingly like doing this, or is this hey, he's called himself this, right? Like, is he manipulating the system for his advantage, or is he legitimately a good person trying to help out this tribe, like the Freeman? And like that's the other thing, is like I took it very much like he is true to them. Like when he's learning their ways and stuff, like it is a very altruistic thing. Like that's the way I read it, right? And then like once he takes the water of life, and like he kind of sees everything, that like he kind of, it's almost like he starts fulfilling his destiny a bit more. It's almost like he buys into the prophecy of himself. Yes, right. And like he believes in himself. Yeah. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but apparently it is. Yeah. Like apparently the reading is supposed to be that he is not the hero. The hero. Yeah. And I'm like,
that's hard for me because, like, now, I mean, of course, there is one thing that he does at the end when he decides to take the king's daughter.
Yeah, Florence Pugh.
Yeah, or the emperor, I guess.
Yeah.
To like become the new emperor of
the house.
Yeah, and like I guess that can be viewed as like, oh, he was just doing this all for power and revenge, obviously. But like Eric Voss in his video said that like he was playing Zendaya the whole time, that he wasn't actually in love with her, and I just don't buy that.
In the book, it says that he does love Chani.
Okay.
That you know, it's just all a front. But he really does love Chani, and Chani loves him. But like he hurt her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, by
badly.
being with somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very like there's a lot to it. What?
Geek Ledger, what's up?
Hey.
And chat says Stilgar every 2 seconds. The Zon Agaib.
I love him. He's like my favorite.
Anytime he did something, I'd look at Matt and I'd start laughing.
Dude, so good, man. And like, I don't know. I really read Paul as like a good guy. And then like after he gets that life water, and then like he sees his sister, and like again that's where it comes in with the whole like being able to commune through the past and present and the future, where like because Paul is tapped into the granny time,
the granny time,
the granny force, that that like his sister is able to talk to him from the future, like not through baby sister who still exists. We got Dapper.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So not like, okay, Maggie muted. So not like through like the baby sister that's not born yet, but like through the future sister who will be born. And like, I don't know. She seems like a good person in the little bit that we saw. I mean, and plus also, friggin' Anya Taylor-Joy out of nowhere. I loved that. I love her anyway. King's Gambit or Queen's Gambit, phenomenal. I know nothing about chess, but that fucking show is fantastic. Oh my god. But yeah, so it's just a very, like, all of that aside, everything about like the prophecy and Paul and like why he's doing things and like false messiah stuff and all that stuff, all that aside, the story itself of just these people fighting against this, you know, impending overwhelming doom and being able to overcome through like their strength of belief in each other. Like, I think that's awesome. You know, like I love that. Like, it doesn't matter how powerful, how rich, how many weapons, you know, all these things, like none of that matters as long as you know, this group stays together. But then, you know, then I think about all that, and then I remember you know, Paul kind of was flying the flag of his family and like on the worms, and so he really did use the Freeman to fight his battle to become you know, the new emperor guy. And I don't know, I guess he does. I guess he is not great. It's just hard because I do love Timothy Chalamet, and like I don't know, I don't know. And like the way I read it was when he took the emperor's daughter, like, to marry her. Like, I took it as he was trying to basically bring peace to the families, to the universe, right? Within the system. So like he knows how the system works. He knows that, you know, bloodlines matter and all this stuff, right? Like and so instead of trying to break the system and make it bend to his view of how things should be, he decides to just play into the system and use the system and his knowledge of it to take over it, right? Whether he's an altruistic emperor or if he sucks, it almost doesn't matter, because he still decided to uphold the system that's been created that he lives in. I know that's a lot. That's a lot that I just said, and I don't even know if I followed all of it. So Maggie just came back. Let's see here. Let me check in chat. So Geek Ledger, I really cannot wait for Dune Prophecy on Max later this year. That show's going to go hard. There's a show? I didn't know there was a show. I know Dune Messiah the movie is going to happen. What is this Dune prophecy? I'm going to have to look into this. Anya Taylor-Joy as Paul's unborn little sister was insane. Dude, right? Holy fuck. That was just the best. I loved that. Let's see. I do think we need to see this movie and the story through the lens that the original author put in place. Paul is not an actual Messiah. He's literally a commentary on the white savior concept. That's true. And if you do keep that in mind, I think that obviously that colors everything. But like detached from it, it's hard to not see Paul as just somebody almost bound by circumstances, you know? Like I don't think he ever wanted to be this Messiah figure as much as it just kind of was forced on him. But I mean, and then he did take advantage of it, don't get me wrong. And I do completely agree with everything that Zendaya, and I can't think of her friend, but what they were both saying about how this is just a way they control you. How, you know, they set up this Messiah figure so you won't do anything to better your circumstances. I mean, again, growing up in church, that was very much a way of thinking like that we were kind of pushed into, of like, hey, you know, shit might suck, but as long as you keep faith, you know, God will take care of things. And it's like, well, no, I mean, sometimes you got to take care of shit, you know? Yeah. Like sometimes you should just go get a job, and, you know, like sometimes, you know, I'm not saying don't have faith. I'm just saying like you need to have faith in yourself as well.
I read up on Dune Prophecy show. Says it's an upcoming science fiction television series set in the Dune universe created by Frank Herbert for the streaming service Max, focusing on the origins of the Ben Gesserit, an exclusive and powerful sisterhood who undergo intense physical training and mental conditioning to obtain superhuman abilities. It takes place approximately 10,000 years before the events of Herbert's novel Dune, and serves as a prequel to the Dune movie 2021.
Ooh, okay.
The series is produced by... I'm
going to mute you. Yeah, you're fine. Poor Henry. He's like, I don't understand what the hell y'all are talking about. Let's see here. Eric Manuel here. Is Dune done? No third movie, right? Had to step out for a bit, but I'm back, LOL. There is going to be a third movie, Dune Messiah. And my God, it can't get here soon enough. And apparently this guy's waiting to do Dune Messiah. Like, I mean, he might do it soon, but he said he's not worried about rushing it. And I'm like, fuck, man, please rush it. You know? I mean, like, I want it to be good. I want you to take your time, obviously, guy. Like, you know what you're doing. But, like, God damn it. I need this movie tomorrow. Like, I needed Dune Part 2, like, the moment I finished Dune Part 1. And, like, I feel like I need Dune Messiah worse than I need Dune Part 2. You know? God, it's so good. Let's see here. The Geek Ledger, the director, is currently writing the script for Dune Part 3, aka Dune Messiah. It was originally called Dune Sisterhood, and it's a prequel to the movie. He's talking about the show. Yeah, and apparently there's like a Dune, I want to say MMO that's coming out. Massive multiplayer online game. I want to say. It might just be a survival game. It might not be an MMO, but I heard like they dropped a trailer for it or something today. I didn't watch it, but, and again, I don't know how much that ties into it. But like, honestly, a lot of this stuff about like, you know, working within the system and, you know, all that stuff kind of reminds me of, I mean, obviously this is inspired from Dune and not the opposite. So I want to make sure everybody understands. I know Dune came first, so I'm not trying to say any of this stuff inspired Dune. I know it's the opposite, but it reminded me, because of how I've taken it in, of the Matrix, and like the way Neo was like, by the time we get to the end of the Matrix Reloaded, it's revealed that all of this is just a form of control, that the prophecy of the one is not real, that it's something that the machines use to, you know, make the system of the Matrix work, you know, for 99.8% or whatever the hell it is. And like ultimately, you know, they have to use that to then like reboot the Matrix and all that bunch of stuff. But like, so he's able to still do the things that he can do, but because he was created to do that more than he's like a figure who is like, I guess here's my thing. All right. And this might be too much. Okay. This may be too much to discuss, and I'm okay with that. We can totally, if everybody is like, no, I don't, that's too much. Like, I guess I don't know the difference between the chosen one being chosen like magically, or being created as the chosen one. Like, and like why one is seen as proper and one is seen as improper, right? Like Paul was basically, if we're believing everything that we're told by the witches and the grannies or whatever, Paul was manufactured to be the one, right? The chosen one with the powers to see the future and all, like all the stuff that the grannies have, but he's a man. And so like that makes him the one or whatever. So like, okay, there's that, but then like, not okay. Again, pull me back if we got to, but let's think about Jesus, okay? Because like, well, give me just a second, and then you can pull me back. Let's think about Jesus, because if the whole thing is like, well, they crossed bloodlines, they did these things to make sure that Paul or someone, maybe they didn't know it'd be Paul, but that someone would be born that would then fulfill, the everything, right? So like, I mean, that's what happened to Jesus. Like, in the Bible, like they prophesied that like, he'd be, I don't know, it's been a hot minute since I've read any of this stuff, but like, like Moses and like Abraham, like, the David and all, like the lineage would lead to Jesus, right? And so like you could make the argument that, well, God manufactured that. So like, why is it okay that God manufactured it, but it's wrong that the grannies manufactured it? I mean, if it's manufactured either way, like, is that what's wrong?
I think it's because...
Or is that what the dude is trying to say?
Or maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what he's trying to say. Wait, do I say amen at some point? You can, Eric. You can say amen.
I love it.
I think what it is.
Okay.
With you, which I think with me too, is that
tell me all your thoughts on God.
Please, I'm running on fumes. You distract me. It's gone.
I'm sorry. I thought it needed to happen. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I understand, but I'm just warning you.
Okay. I'm done. I'll be good.
Okay. So, like, I think it's just where we were so heavily involved in church.
Yeah.
And, we didn't think of it that way.
Yeah.
We didn't see it that way.
Like as manufacturing?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think seeing Paul say, hey, I'm it,
Yeah. I'm here to fulfill all of the law.
Yeah. I'm here to just do it all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have war and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the Ben Gesserit, yes, did have a plan in place throughout the years.
Yeah.
With all these houses that, yes, will have multiple
possibilities.
heirs, that we will have some control.
Yeah.
And we will have at least an heir in each house that may have the powers of the Ben Gesserit, whatever.
Yeah.
And like Lady Jessica even said, he's having visions.
Which they didn't even want Paul.
No.
To be the one.
No.
And like she was supposed to have a girl.
Yeah. The Mother Reverend just did not want to listen to her.
So I mean, it's interesting that he's not the one, even though he is the one.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, that almost says he's more, like the prophecy's more real.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Or like if it's manufactured, if it's fake, then he shouldn't succeed.
Yeah.
At what? I mean, to me, that says more to the prophecy being legitimate. In the sense of like, I don't know. I guess that's the thing is like just the idea of prophecy. Like what is the difference between a real prophecy and a fake prophecy?
I think it's, I don't know. I didn't take anything in theology.
Well, I mean, that's okay. Like we're just having a conversation.
I know, but like I'm still having a hard time grasping that, like dealing with it.
Yeah.
Cause like, a part of me looked at it as, oh, hey, he decided to believe.
Yeah, like Neo, he can see the code.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is seen as a good thing, but in this, it's a bad thing.
Yes. But then, like, when you hear it from, like, Eric Voss.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's just doing it because he's not the hero.
He's using it.
He's using
to
it.
fulfill his own desires of becoming king
and
or whatever.
I don't, because I think back to part 1 when he does, wherever we start seeing the visions and stuff, and he sees Zendaya, he sees Chani in his visions and being out in the desert and stuff. Like, and even when Duncan would come back, Jason Momoa came back from meeting the Fremen and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, can I go with you? I mean, even before
any of that,
sabotage happened.
Yeah.
He wanted to go.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was because, I don't think he knew. Like, yes, his mom had told him, like, of the prophecy or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't think he knew himself at that point. I think he just knew, hey, I want to get out there so I can see that girl. That's the way I look at it as. Well, the way I look at it right now.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, that's the thing about this is nobody's wrong.
Because
it's everybody's opinion. You know?
Because once he
Except
does...
the authors, I guess.
I think once he does find her, that he kind of believes it a little bit more.
Yeah.
That he...
Well, because the visions start coming true.
True, yeah.
Which, if you really look at it, a lot of his visions don't come true. Like, I would say the majority of them don't.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's, like, that guy that was supposed to teach him the ways that he kills.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, the shot of him and Zendaya, like, rolling the galaxy together or whatever. And, like, probably not going to happen. And, like, Zendaya's face melting off. Like, that doesn't happen.
No.
And, I mean, sure, some of this stuff could still happen.
Yeah.
But, like, that dude did die.
Yes.
Like, so that's not gonna happen now,
Yeah.
So I mean, it's almost like he doesn't just see like the future, he sees like possible futures. And so like, I don't know.
Eric thought we was talking about the Chosen TV show.
That's great. Dude, I'd probably watch that if it was about Paul Atreides. It'd be a much better show.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Geek Ledger said, backstory not in the movie. The Bene Gesserit have been engaging in genetic and social engineering for thousands of years. I like that. Genetic and social engineering. I like that.
Okay.
That's an interesting way of wording it.
So if I'm understanding this conversation, not just ours, but like the whole thing, is it to say that there is no real prophecy, period? Like it's all bullshit? Because I mean, I can get behind that. Like if that's what the author's trying to say, like
I think it
totally
is,
fine.
because you got to think of the time that he wrote that.
Yeah.
And like
when God's spell was all the rave.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Like it's just interesting that he wrote this story as kind of like a commentary on religion in a way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And government
on multiple religions.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
And government like taking religion to be able to.
Yeah.
I mean, Eric Voss brought up a huge point of like the fact that the planet what's it
Arrakis.
called? Arrakis. That like there's this holy war.
Yeah.
But like the government is so involved in it because there's just this natural resource, and it's just straight up the Middle East.
Yes,
like it's just a 1-to-1 of the Middle East conflict that's been going on for centuries.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, 100% accurate. But yeah, no, I guess maybe that's why I was struggling with it at first, is that I was trying to understand the difference between a real prophecy and a false prophecy, under the idea that both exist.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps in this universe, and I mean, perhaps just in general, like prophecy isn't real.
Yeah.
Like neither. I mean, that there is not a such thing as a real prophecy, and that that's why there's no contradiction, because there is only false prophecies.
Yeah. Geek Ledger said the prophecy was made up by the Bene Gesserit, and they manipulated the culture of the masses to believe in the prophecy, and then created the perfect genetic specimen to fulfill the prophecy. So that's why they keep on crossing bloodlines. Yeah. Is to have that perfect.
And that's why Paul ends up being both House Atreides and the other. Yeah. Because he's got all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which Lady Jessica didn't even know that she was the Baron's daughter.
Which, what the fuck happened to her?
Yeah.
Like, when she drank that water, she went like, something happened. She started getting tattoos. Like,
oh, well, I think
like, she just get full of herself? Like, you know? Or did she start, like, I felt like, well, I mean, like, she shifted.
Yeah.
In,
well,
like,
she
in
did.
that, you know? Like, I mean, she become much more like, I'm going to fucking make these people believe in Paul. And like, was it just been like vindictive against like the High Mother or whatever the fuck the grannies are called? Because it's almost like when they see each other at the end, it's almost like Jessica's like, yeah, fuck you, bitch. Look at me.
Yeah. And Mother Reverend calls her a Mother Reverend. So,
yeah.
But like,
so it's all just power.
Yeah.
It's just about power.
Power plays.
Wow.
Because Lady Jessica wants to get down to the South. And that's before Paul drank the water of life. He's like, I'm not going to the South. I'm staying up here.
Yeah.
Because if I go to the South with you.
And see, that's another thing. Is like, if he's like, that's one of the other reasons why I disagree that he was playing the Freeman and Zendaya the whole time, because there was multiple times that he actively fought against becoming like the head of the whatever. Like the fact that he fought so much against going to the South because he knew that would lead to this holy war, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of putting on that show just like if he didn't actually feel that way? Like when he tells Zendaya, "I'll always love you,"
until my last breath.
Yeah, like if he didn't really love her, why bother telling her that? And like in that moment, because like she's not happy with him, and like his influence over her is done at that point. And so, like, if he is just a bastard the whole movie, like, and all of this is just a big lie, then I just don't think, I don't know, I don't think that everything makes sense.
I think
if that was the one thought process that he was just an asshole the whole time.
Yeah.
I just don't think that it's that can be the case.
I think things would have blown up fairly more if that was the case. Like, if he was being the a-hole.
If he was just bad the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think things would have been 10 times worse.
I feel like I feel like they would have done a better job of making him not as honorable, you know? Even though, like, the way he kills the dude at the end is kind of, like, sly, you know? Like, he kind of underhandedly finishes the fight, you know?
Geek Ledger says, there's some dialogue that's exclusive to the 1984 movie that explains Paul's reasoning of choosing the Emperor's daughter as his wife and not Chani. He says the marriage will be in name only, and Chani will be his concubine and the mother of his children.
Kind of like his dad.
His dad did, yeah.
Interesting.
Because, I mean, remember Oscar Isaac said, I should have married you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because, I mean, and that, honestly, that feels more like royal medieval stuff.
Oh, it is.
You know, like, I mean, that's what they would do.
So messed up.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Huh.
Can't stand that stuff.
Interesting. See, this is why this movie's fucking just fantastic. Like, we can talk for like an hour about like about real religion because of this movie, you know? Like, that shit fucking rocks, you know? Like, not only does this movie have a giant fucking worm that the dude like surfs on and like has some of the just best visual effects we've ever seen.
Hey, at the beginning of the movie we get Skarsgård flying in the air.
Yeah. Like, not only does it have all that stuff, but then it also has you contemplating the role of religion in society and what is the value of prophecy in religion, and can that even truly really be without being a form of control?
Yeah.
And like, that's fucking great. Like, that just means this movie is fucking phenomenal. You know what I mean? God damn. What a film. It's going to be the best of 2024. I feel it. I can feel it in my nuggets.
Don't say that.